With the start of training camp now less than 2 weeks away, I figured that this would be the perfect time to take a look at every player on the San Francisco 49ers roster and how they fit with the team heading into training camp. Today, we will dig into one of the deeper positions on the defensive side of the ball with a look at the defensive tackles. Starting with Javon Kinlaw. The 49ers selected Kinlaw with the 14th pick in the 2020 draft. This put Kinlaw in the unenviable position of replacing Pro Bowl defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. As if that wasn't enough, the COVID-19 pandemic would eliminate all team activities until the start of training camp. Primarily a run-stuffing defensive tackle, this put Kinlaw behind the 8 ball as he could have benefited from the extra work on pass rush technique with the 49ers coaching staff. Despite struggling throughout the first half of the season, Kinlaw would flash in back-to-back games against the New Orleans Saints and the Los Angeles Rams. Against New Orleans, Kinlaw would register the first sack of his NFL career and follow that up with an assist later on with another. The following week against the Rams, Kinlaw would intercept a Jared Goff pass early in the second half and return it for a 27-yard touchdown. Kinlaw would end up leading all 49ers interior defensive linemen with 33 tackles in his rookie campaign. He showed the ability to stuff the run as a rookie. For 2021, the 49ers will need to see him make a jump with his pass rush. Otherwise, Kinlaw will likely be reduced to the role of a two-down run stuffer. DJ Jones. Jones went into the offseason as a free agent, but San Francisco was able to bring the 4-year veteran back with a new 1-year, $3.5 million agreement. Jones is extremely athletic for his size, an attribute that helped him lead all 49ers interior defensive linemen with 3 sacks in 2020, a career high, and tackles for loss at 7. Jones also had career highs in games played with 14 and snaps with 419 last year. In total, Jones has recorded 5 sacks over 25 games the last 2 seasons. Kevin Givens. Givens joined the 49ers as an undrafted free agent in 2019 and was promoted to the active roster in late December of that season. In 2020, Givens made the active roster out of training camp and played in 13 games, including 1 start. Similar in stature to DJ Jones, Givens was usually the first defensive tackle off the bench. Givens played a total of 386 snaps, finishing with 19 tackles, 5 for loss, 1 quarterback sack, and 3 quarterback hits. Zach Kerr. The 49ers signed Kerr to a 1-year deal worth just over $1.2 million. The 7-year veteran originally entered the NFL with the Indianapolis Colts as an undrafted free agent. Kerr also spent time with Denver, Arizona, and most recently Carolina. With Carolina in 2020, Kerr played in 13 games and made 4 starts, recording a career-high 9 quarterback hits, 2 sacks, and 32 tackles. Throughout his career, Kerr has primarily been a rotational piece. He has started only 16 of 88 games played. Maurice Hurst. Originally expected to be an early round 2 or late round 1 pick, Hurst would slide all the way to the 5th round of the 2018 draft before being selected by the Oakland Raiders. Hurst's slide was the result of a heart condition that was uncovered during the NFL Combine. A rotational player that can play both of the interior positions on the defensive line, Hurst played 40 games for the Raiders over the course of his first 3 seasons. During that time, Hurst recorded a total of 76 tackles and 8 sacks, along with 17 hits on the quarterback. And last but not least, Kentavious Street. Street was expected to be one of the top defensive linemen in 28, but a torn ACL during his pro day changed that. The 49ers still liked the North Carolina State product enough that they would take a chance on him in the 4th round, knowing that he would need to sit out the season while recuperating. After seeing his first NFL action at the end of the 2019 season, Street would play in 15 games last season and make 2 starts, finishing with 11 tackles. 2021 outlook. While the edges of the 49ers defensive line appear to be a little thin, the interior appears to be very deep. Look for Javon Kinlaw and DJ Jones to be the starters on the base downs, and then when the defense gets into passing situations, Arik Armstead will slide inside from his defensive end position. Behind the starters, Zach Kerr, Kevin Givens, Maurice Hurst, and Kentavious Street will be battling for the time in the rotation. Kerr will likely serve as a primary backup to Jones, with Givens serving as a primary backup to Javon Kinlaw. Hurst's flexibility to play both the 1 technique and the 3 technique will allow defensive line coach Chris Kosarek to utilize him across the interior of the defensive line. One additional item to keep an eye on is the contract situations involved. Jones, Kerr, Hurst, and Givens, all 4 of them, are only signed through this season. However, since Givens was originally signed as an undrafted free agent, he will be an exclusive rights free agent in 2020. What that means for San Francisco is that Givens will only be able to negotiate with them, which will allow the 49ers to retain his services at a lower cost compared to the others. With San Francisco already up against the 2020 salary cap a little bit. How this plays out could be as much about next season as it is this one.